Hey everybody, welcome back.
Howdy.
Hope you guys are having an awesome day. So, in this video, we're going to take everything that we've pretty much done in the prior, 4 or 5 videos?
At least.
The crew, the mythos, the logos, all that. We're going to grab it, we're going to put it in a bowl, we're going to mix it up, and we're actually going to make a character with you.
We're going to make you a pre-generated character.
Without further ado, let's just get right into it.
Cool. Yeah, so we made this character's name completely generic. You can change the name to whatever you want, but his name is Brian Johnson.
Very basic, very simple.
His name is Brian Johnson.
His name was Brian Johnson.
So the mythos that we have sees you when you're sleeping. Surprise!
We're going to have to beep that out.
Yeah, we can beep that. That's fine. Then the routines, 30 minutes or less, and I'm just a kid, and we'll get into those.
Yep. So our whole idea with this guy before we start getting into the details is he's just a pizza delivery dude where he's basically got this entity, we're going to call it, and we're going to let you guys try to figure out what the mythos is at the end. Put it in the comments. And he's just a teenage kid, man, trying to get by. High school kid, kind of dealing with bullying and stuff like that. And this is kind of his... I'm stronger now because of it.
Right, and it's also, there's a dark side to it because City of Mist plays well into a dark side aspect of things and things to be not always being black and white, but there being some gray area to play in. So we're going to get into that too.
And take into consideration too that the way this is going to be done is you may have an idea of who or what this mythos is, but it's not because we've made some changes.
Comments.
Yeah, but so right off the bat, we're going to go ahead and start with crew.
Yep, the crew's important. This is something that you'll do after you make everything else for your character. But with us doing just one character, we wanted to go ahead and do the crew up front. That way it was on the sheet and you could use it as an example. And also because, hey, he's just a kid, so he's still in high school. So the crew is going to be the misfits. It's him and others like him that have not necessarily the same, but similar mythos. They all kind of woke up at the same time or around the same time. They all have different mythos, but they're all in the same vein. The crew is kind of what unites all of them.
And the I would say the mystery that we went with this one, because it has some kind of like special stuff that goes with it, that we decided to go with, is going to be what's your favorite movie?
Yeah. So obviously there's some movie tropes in here.
Yeah.
There's some good movie tropes in here. So the power tags that we went with, we answered question A first. How do you help, assist, or support one another? They're strong together. They're stronger when they work together.
Right after that, we went with G. What special sources of information do you have? And our response to that is, we're always in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, whether that be stumble into a situation and hey, this, it makes the investigations easier. You can use it on investigations. You can use it on convince. You can use it in a lot of situations. It's not quite broad enough to be a broad tag, I don't feel like.
No.
But it is also a little bit more broad than some of the other ones that you see.
I would say it's literally situational.
Right.
For the situation you're in.
The last one is F. What environments or situations are you most comfortable in?
And that one, we went with something very filling for this squad, and this crew, and this mythos that we got going on. It's we come at night.
They come in the night. I mean, yeah. Hopefully we haven't given it away yet. We're towing that line a little bit.
Before we move on from the crew, though, we also came up with a weakness.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. And the question that we went ahead and answered for that was question D from the book. What places or situations do you find tough to handle? Why don't you go and tell me weaknesses?
They're socially awkward. They're the misfits. They're the outcasts. They're the kids that are they're the table that nobody else goes and sits at for whatever reason. They're the kids that keep to themselves and are just quiet. The social situations make them awkward, and that weakness, with weakness being what it is and with it being your quickest and easiest way to make advancement in this game, we wanted to do our weaknesses to where they can be invoked at almost any time during gameplay.
And keep in mind too, within the crew, anytime you invoke any of these power tags, you gotta burn them.
It's gone until it comes back because they're crispy.
That's exactly the word they use.
I know.
Extra spicy.
Right? So moving on from the crew, and we gave him some crew and some hurt and help points and all that just to fill it out to help us. Moving on from that, though, we're going to get into the first mythos theme.
Yep. So this one right off the bat is Conjuration. That's
which
what we're going
does
with.
come from the Shadows and Showdowns. I know that is a separate book, but we had some questions on these, so we thought, yeah, we'll use a little bit of both.
Yep. And question A right off the bat we've got is, what can you conjure into existence? And this our response to this one for this character is your worst nightmares.
So whatever your target or whatever your own target, like yourself, whatever anybody that's near you, you can conjure their nightmares into existence. Whether that be a giant mass of spiders or
maybe something psychological.
Sure. Or I don't know, maybe you're afraid of horses.
No, exactly. Something like off the wall. You're like, I don't know, like I'm afraid of walking outside and I don't know, falling into oblivion.
My brother is deathly afraid of the deep water.
That's a really good thing.
Like
not that's a really good example.
Yeah, it's a good example. But like out in the ocean or super deep lakes, stuff like that, like he can't handle it.
I think that's really common because ironically enough, I'm kind of the same way.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
The next question that we have is F. How does your conjuration protect you? So Brian Johnson can turn incorporeal through his conjurations and through his abilities.
So if anybody or anything in this game basically goes to like maybe attack you or something like that, you can use this power tag to like basically kind of go through you. Incorporeal meaning very like ghost-like, mist-like.
And even you can even take it a step further if you wanted to flavor it a little bit. And with it being he conjures their worst nightmares, cool, you're going to hit me. I'm going to face the danger, but you're actually trying. I've replaced myself with your worst nightmare. So now I'm over here.
Now you got a +2.
Yeah, you got a +2 because you're also incorporeal because they can't see you because they're perceiving this other thing in your place.
Or now they see you, but now they're completely petrified by being confronted.
Sure, like there's lots of ways to overlap that. The last question is, what conditions are favorable for your conjurations?
And this one is everybody sleeps.
Everybody sleeps.
Everybody sleeps. There's no way around it. At some point,
everybody has nightmares. Everybody has fears.
Yep. And at some point, our bodies need to sleep in order to rejuvenate. It's what we do as people.
So, given all this, what's Brian's weakness based on this? We went with the question B, in what ways does your conjurations get out of hand?
And we went with can't stop, won't stop. He's
Yeah.
always on the go. If he's got a target, he wants it. He needs it. He's going to stop at nothing until he gets that target.
So his conjurations, he just either can't control them or he just won't stop using them because he has this drive to finish the task.
Yeah, his mythos is pushing him to get this done.
Exactly. So conjuration, the mystery that we came up with for this is, when does this end? He's on this kind of this warpath. He sees everybody's nightmares. He uses everybody's nightmares against them. He has to deal with his own nightmares. He can't stop himself from moving and doing these things. When does all this end?
Yeah.
What's the end game? What's the goal?
And you got to answer these questions because that's how you progress your character.
Right. And the big advancement comes whenever or another form of advancement comes whenever you answer the mystery or resolve the identity issues. The next mythos we went with was Subversion. That's the surprise.
I feel like at this point you may already have a good idea of who this this mythos is, but we're gonna keep going.
Yeah, we're gonna going.
But we're gonna keep going. So, with this being the second mythos we've got, the mystery on this guy is gonna be, what if I was innocent?
Sure.
And the whole idea that we've got behind this being that the mythos that that Brian has, as well as him as well, being in this situation to where, what if you're wrong about me? Like, what if I didn't do these things you're accusing me of?
And all of his stuff kind of has an overlap. His mythos plays into his logos a little bit, and his logos plays into his mythos a little bit. So it's answering one question might answer a couple questions at the same time, but 100%, what if I was innocent is a why me kind of thing. The first power tag off of that, question A, what is the principal ability you use to mask or hide your actions?
And this one right off the bat kind of playing into the mythos that he already has and what this mythos is capable of. And you may have seen at this point in film and stuff like that, you can't see me.
You can't see him?
Yeah.
I'm not wearing camo, so it doesn't really work. But yeah.
But the whole idea behind this being that this mythos, this entity that is giving Brian these abilities, he's always popping up randomly, and like, what if he's always been there and you just can't see this guy?
You just didn't notice him.
He's just
he was there. You just didn't notice him until he wanted you to, or until it was important to notice him. And that 100% plays into the misfits and them being the outcast and the people that nobody really pays attention to because you're not paying attention to them anyway. So let's just make them disappear a little bit more.
So then after that one, we've got question D on Subversion for the next power tag. What do you do best under the cover of secrecy? And to that we have silent kill.
We went with one that was straight in the book.
Yeah.
We wanted to give Subversion a little bit of an offensive capability as well, given what his mythoi, I guess it would be, what his mythos pertains to.
Mm-hmm.
Silent kill, you don't notice him, you don't see him. He's kind of always just skulking around. If he wants to take you out, he can take you out a lot easier.
Before we put silent kill on here, we were gonna go with sneak attack D20 just because I thought it would be funny, but we changed it.
All caps. So the last one that we took for this question H, what is unlikely to affect you thanks to your powers? He's never suspected.
Yeah.
Somebody gets in trouble, something happens, somebody winds up dead. There's a body in the streets, or for whatever reason, a body at the school.
But this guy is just kind of like...
He's a nobody.
He's a nobody, exactly.
It would never be him. And the mythos even takes that a step further. Oh, I didn't see him there. He wasn't there. I don't think he was
It's
there.
not possible.
It's not possible. He's never around.
And then going right off that into the weakness we have what disadvantageous psychological tendencies have you developed in the shadows or behind the mask? And for that weakness we have...
He's got a big ego. He's starting to get full of himself. He's got this power. He's got this ability. He started to take notice that, hey, nobody knows I'm around. I can get away with pretty much whatever I want.
Which literally plays back into the you can't see me, never suspected.
Yeah. 100% this character is easily having +3s, +4s. I think even some situations up to +5 or 6 maybe.
But it totally fits for the dude's mythos.
It does. And it's very specific too, because if you're in just a knockdown, drag out fight, toe to toe, it's going to be a lot less. This is 100% a sneaky subversion, catch you by surprise character. So switching from the mythos into the logos, because we made it a 2-2 split. His first one is routine, 30 minutes or less.
He's a pizza delivery guy, man.
Pizza dude, you got 30 minutes. Anything less than that's $2 off.
Insert Ninja Turtles times up
Dude's
$3.
got 30 seconds.
Dude, God love it.
Exactly.
And then so right there within the mystery, or in this case, its identity, because it's a logos, is I have to help my family.
Why is he working? He has to help his family. It's stuff in the city. Sometimes ends don't always meet, and every little bit that you can scrape together helps. So he works and he delivers pizza to help his family.
Yeah, dude. The struggle is real with this dude.
Oh yeah.
He's just trying to make ends meet. He's helping out his family. He wants to help out his friends. He's a very passionate character.
Absolutely.
That just really wants, even though he feels like he might be treated harsh at times, he still wants the best for everybody.
Sure. And that plays right into question A for this. What do you do with your time? What is your routine? It's his job. He delivers pizzas. Question C is another one that we use. What sort of tools do you use? We gave him a scooter.
We got a scooter, man. The
He's
guy's
got
a pizza
scooter.
delivery guy.
He's a pizza guy. He's got a scooter. He probably has a hat too.
Of course.
But he's got a scooter. The last question for that one. What trick have you picked up doing what you do? He's a grifter. He takes a little off the top.
Yeah, he's not afraid to scrape a little bit off the top
Sure.
just to get that little bit extra to make those ends meet.
Oh, they told you this much whenever you called it in? No. Sorry. They gave you before taxes. It's actually $1 more.
Pocket the change.
There you go.
Yep. And then, so right there for the weakness, we also have, even though he's going through and he's trying to get this money, he's trying to take care of himself, take care of his family, he's live the best life he can, he still can't quite get those ends to meet financially.
The ends never meet. At the end of the day, what are you left with?
Yeah.
And he's not left with much. The ends never meet. He never actually gets to have any kind of extra money or spending money. It all goes to bills and helping out and making sure everything's taken care of, or maintenance on the scooter or whatever it may be.
And one thing that's really cool with this, and the reason that we did it this way, is because it leaves a lot of area of opportunity for Brian to progress.
Yes.
Like this, at the end of the day, it's not his career path.
Right.
He's going to do something better.
It maybe not even maybe something better. Maybe he does something dark.
Oh, yeah.
Because somebody's going to give him some money for it.
Yeah. It's definitely a jumping off point for him to really, depending on how you want to play it, shift. Like he goes more like career oriented. Maybe he starts going like corporate.
Absolutely.
Or he goes towards, I don't know, maybe he starts dipping into like the dark side of things and maybe starts working with like a mob boss or something.
Sure.
like
Maybe
that.
he starts to being a delivery guy for a dark part of society that he's not just delivering pizza. He's delivering other stuff with it. And it starts off as this little thing, and then it ends up being this really hard stuff.
Yep.
The last one, we went back and forth on a couple. We decided that since we did a logos or a mythos from both Shadows and Showdowns and one from the Player's Guide, we wanted to do the same thing here.
Yep.
We went with the struggle, and this is We definitely focused on bullying here, given that it's a very common struggle for kids in high school and kids in any grade of school.
Whether it's at school, whether it's online, none of that stuff is okay, but it's a very real thing.
Yeah.
That our character that we've created is basically dealing with.
Absolutely. So his logos to that struggle is he's just a kid.
He's just a kid.
I'm just a kid, man. His identity, stop bullying me.
I mean, straight up, yeah.
Just stop.
He's like, I'm a kid, dude. I didn't deserve any of this.
Right.
Why are you treating me this way? Just let me be me. I don't treat you poorly. And that's literally the identity of this, which again gives you a lot of opportunity for when he progresses past this. Maybe he accepts it and progresses to
becomes a better person. He gets past it and goes on to do great things with it. Maybe he becomes the bully and it
that
flips.
was another one.
And I do want to take this moment to say, everybody in the Misfits, the way we talked about it, everybody in the Misfits is probably part of this being bullied group.
The outcasts, the people that are picked on, like the kids at school, kind of like JD said, that are sitting outside kind of keeping to themselves. And just I don't want to say it, but like the group that everyone says is like the awkward kids or
Sure.
the kids that are different. Don't judge kids like that. That's not cool. Don't bully kids.
No. Why are they? Everybody has a reason. If they're different, there's a reason. And honestly, probably just because nobody talks to them.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I was that kid, man.
I was that kid for a while.
Yeah.
So the questions we went with on that one, have to go with question A first. Despite the hardship, what was the best thing that came out of this? He's not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid of you. Everybody picks on me. I'm not going to be afraid of you too.
Yep.
I'm over it.
He like, again, just dialing back to hey, I'm taking this bad situation I'm dealing with day in and day out, and I'm using it to empower myself.
Sure.
Give myself strength to stay strong, build character, and just become a better person and live a better life for myself.
Question 2, we went with E. Who is your support network?
And this one, we straight up said, Mom's got my back.
Mom's got his back. He can always turn to Mom. I'm gonna always go and fight for him and say, hey, no, y'all need to fix this. And a lot of the time that's not heard and whatnot, but Mom's always there for him. She's the support group. The last one is question B. Because of your struggle, what new strength did you find you have? He's gotten very protective of others that he sees in bad situations.
And this very much kind of like goes full circle back to the crew and everybody that he's affiliated with, and these bullies that he's essentially standing against. He is very much the protector.
Absolutely. But his weakness through this, how does his struggle affect his everyday life? He's overwhelmed by despair. He's always just kind of morose. He's got this dark look on life because he's dealt with it for so long and it's become kind of part of him, and he's having to just deal with this struggle.
Like legit, I think I can relate to this a little bit to an extent. It's very much and it's something that I personally got, through and past over time. It's the kid that almost seems like he always has a chip on his shoulder.
Absolutely. And take it a step further. Use that weakness. Use the weakness every chance you get. Oh, you got something to say to me?
Dude, max his character out.
This character is, for one, it's going to be strong out the gate if you're in a campaign where you can use the mythos interchange, like where they overlap with each other and the logos overlaps a little bit. The crew overlaps with it a little bit. So if this kind of archetype falls into the game, it's going to work really well.
It works really well in that his different power tags have something else within his character sheet that basically benefits or ties into something else.
He's going to be a very narrow player, but he's also going to be really good at it. And moving on down the line, his weaknesses can be used in so many situations and in so many ways. They're not broad tags, but in the same vein, they are easily used if you want to take a minute to twist it enough.
They're not broad, but you could still set them up to almost be used every
right. You can always spin it that way. So he's gonna, you can advance this guy really easily. But also, that being said, if you don't play into his stuff, he's also really easy to crack and fade.
Oh yeah, for sure, because
he's a really easy one to set up this dilemma between, do I go this way or do I play into my stuff?
But if you want to play, you very much have to kind of go A or B, right?
Yeah.
There's not really a gray area you can kind of float in this guy, because eventually what's going to happen is you're going to lose abilities here, gain abilities here, and vice versa, because it's kind of the way we built him.
Yeah. If you play into the protective side a little bit, or if you play heavily into the protective side and the logos, it's going to very much detriment your mythos. If you play into the mythos and the sneaky and you have this power and you can do this, you get your revenge, then it's going to downplay your Logos, and that Logos is going to be easier to flip.
And it literally will allow this character basically kind of go back and forth if you do it right very easily.
Absolutely.
Which could be a lot of fun and open some really awesome roleplay stuff.
But there you go. There's everything, and a good example of how you build a character, how you quickly build a crew, or just throw a crew together for an example. Take him, play with him, enjoy him. If you do have shadows and showdowns, the rest of the questions are in the book. If you don't, kind of base what you build out from this on other questions in the book. You know, how does your power impact your mobility? How does your power impact your ability to handle bad situations?
There's a lot of different options. We just went with these as we were building the character because we already had an idea of where we wanted this kind of character to go when we were building him. Yeah. But for sure, you can get the starter set for this game, again, for free. If you want to get the actual book, you can use our code on cityofmist.co for 5% off.
It's down there somewhere.
Down there at the bottom. Until then, catch us on our Twitters.
And with that being said, who's that Mythoid? So we'll go with that.
Ooh, that's a good one. Drop it in the comments.
Please, because I want to see what people came up with.
Because there's a couple it could be.
I'm sure there's a few that I haven't even thought of that are going to be down there. So
yeah. So thanks a lot, everyone. We love you. Stay awesome, be excellent, and love each other.
We'll see you.